tickets are killer, and they exist in most managed service providers. They are kind of the bane of people's existence. A lot of times I'll look at their PSA and I'll find tickets that are months and months and months and months old. And when you start reading the notes and so forth, you realize that not only should it have been closed, but there's no way to even close it anymore because now you look really bad in the eyes of the client and so forth. So it becomes a real problem. It's easy to do. It's easy for technicians to do. It's just a big problem. So if we go back to my three-legged stool of MTTR, SLA, and CSAT, there's two of those that drive or tend to drive lower stale ticket counts, and that's MTTR, because obviously when you close a ticket that's been open for months and months and months, it has a big impact on mean time to resolution. So that's a big deal. And if you then pair those metrics with bonuses, like we just discussed, now you're creating a situation where if the MTTR is too high, their bonus is either decreased, or if it's high enough, they don't get a bonus in the managed services team. So that creates a financial reason for them to not let tickets get stale. And then obviously the other piece of that is CSAT, customer satisfaction. If your techs are closing tickets that are 3 months old, 6 months old, you're going to get bad CSAT reviews, and that piece would also influence their bonus. And so there's that financial piece. You know, philosophically, I think that it's important to not allow, to kind of make people understand that stale tickets are not acceptable. That once we start a ticket, that we work those tickets until we can't, either we're stuck or we can close them. So stuck means that, you know, we have to wait on HP to call us back, or we're waiting on the client to call us back. So it's something that's out of our control. Otherwise, we continue to work those tickets until we get it completed. And adopting that philosophical plan of attack, I think, is important, because you can't run more than, say, 2 or 3 open tickets at any given time. I mean, it's just impossible. And you'll see it a lot when a company has bad stale tickets. You'll see where each tech has 15 in-progress tickets and, you know, all of these old tickets. It's because they're jumping around. And from an efficiency standpoint, it's not good. From a customer expectation standpoint, it's not good. Just all around, it's a real problem. So I really recommend philosophically just taking the position that we work tickets until completion, or until we can't, some outside force is preventing us from moving it on. And so, you know, that brings up topics like we've got to have escalation processes, because a tech may not be able to resolve an issue. It may have to go to somebody else to be resolved. The other piece of that question was, you asked when I consider a ticket stale. Yeah, so I consider a ticket stale if it hasn't had any update for more than 2 days. And so that would be if it's in some sort of a waiting status, meaning like it's waiting for the client, or waiting for HP, or waiting from some other outside force, not touched for 2 days. I would consider a in-progress ticket stale if it hasn't been touched, if it hasn't had an update in 2 hours. So to me, a ticket that's in progress, meaning being actively worked by a technician, should have some sort of an update at least every 2 hours. Otherwise, there's a problem with the ticket. And if you're managing the tickets with a human, now that human can look for exceptions. So they're able to look for situations where the ticket's gone stale when it's actually gone stale, not, you know, months later, weeks later. The other thing is there's a lot of tools out there like BrightGauge and those sorts of tools, depending on what PSA you're using, that can report on that. So for example, in my managed service company, we had big television screens everywhere, and those numbers, stale tickets being one of them, were in front of everybody. So everybody knew when there were stale tickets, and you could just click on them and see what technician was responsible for those stale tickets. So making it a big deal, philosophically kind of adopting a philosophical position that we work tickets to completion, and we don't juggle them like that. And then, building bonuses around that so that there's a financial incentive for not allowing it to happen, I think is the way to handle stale tickets.